You know, I think this whole franchise is like the one thing that has been milked for sequel after reboot after sequel and doesn't seem dead. It's earned it, and I'm down for every one of them, basically. Creed 3 was directed by Michael B. Jordan in his first ever outing as a director, and it stars Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. In here, Adonis Creed has retired. He's finished his last fight with a victory and gone into training people, which is the next generation of boxers, when an old friend from the past reappears. This friend would like a chance at the champion belt, but after events unfold, the two may end up in a conflict of their own and might have to face off in the ring. Creed 3 was something that I was excited for. I love the Rocky franchise. I love the Creed franchise. I think Rocky 5 is the only movie out of all of them that I would never really revisit, and I haven't. There's just a strong connection I have to these of motivation, of getting me ready and pumped and excited, and just humans. That's what I really like about this. And I was a little nervous, admittedly, because there's a lot of things said about this movie, and Michael B. Jordan was his first time directing. But I have to say, I was impressed. This movie, right off the bat, from the opening scene, it's different. It's automatically more stylized, I'd say, than most of the Rocky films, and I think that's because of the fresh blood of Michael B. Jordan behind, the camera, but also, just in general, this is the first one we don't have Rocky in it. Rocky is mentioned, but he's not in it. Sylvester Stallone has a producing credit on here, but his character is nowhere to be seen within the film, and this is where I feel like the first film in this Creed franchise to be in its own and stand with its own ideas without having to lean on the shoulders of Rocky necessarily. And I loved it for that. I think this movie is really great. This movie is emotional, it is adrenaline fueled, and it is extremely tense. I also like the pacing here. It was really great. The fights in here were amazingly solid. There's this thing they do in there where a lot of the times we're able to see what Creed is seeing. Like, we see where he's finding a weakness and he's going to move in and take that hit. And I like that. I'm someone who does boxing quite a bit myself, so I was enjoying seeing it and understanding how the fights were working. Something else that was really good in here that I enjoyed a lot were all the characters. They seemed very human in here. I do feel like when I watch this movie, there's a lot of callbacks, I'd say, to Rocky 2 and Rocky 3. Both of them, not so much 2, but there's a lot of 3 in here. I could see some inspiration that was coming in through here. And I have to give it to the performances in here. Michael B. Jordan is probably at his most likable point as Creed. He's also way more mature, but he has to make decisions in this movie, and these decisions affect other people, and he begins to recognize that. And the way his relationships are with other people begin to change, and events will cause growth there as well. Jonathan Majors in here is fantastic, because even though he's the villain of the movie, so to speak, he's not like some evil villain or something. He's not like Drago from like Rocky 4 or anything, He's actually someone that you kind of are split on. You don't like him, but you understand and you see things from his perspective. At the same time, you want to see him fail, which is just put an array of emotions through me. This movie is fantastic, though. I do have a few issues with the movie. I'd say I was not a big fan of the workout sequence in here. For me, a workout sequence is mandatory in Rocky. The last one was fantastic. The one where they have him standing to the tire with the guys who can get close and personal. But this one just, it really didn't do it for me. There's one really good part of it where he takes off his thing to protect his head, but aside from that, I wasn't into this sequence. It was a little cheesy in the beginning, but I didn't have much of an issue with that because it is a Rocky movie, essentially. It's a Rocky Creed movie, and these movies are inherently cheesy. But the movie's awesome, though. These guys are ripped. There's a lot of action happening in it. Great character stuff is happening. The music score was okay to me. It was pretty good. I didn't love it, but it was really good. I think it did its job, but it's not my favorite by any means. For this movie, it solidly lands everything. It's just really good cinematography in here. Final fight, very exciting. New way of doing it, I'd say. And I had a good time with Creed 3. I really enjoyed it. I am trying not to spoil it. I'm thinking of probably putting out a spoiler review possibly because I had a fantastic time with Creed 3. And I think you should definitely go check it out because it stands as a really good addition to this franchise and made me say, let's get a Creed 4. I felt excited after it, and this is what movies are supposed to do. This was a genuine experience for me. Another thing to mention is Creed has a little daughter in here who's deaf, and their relationship is just adorable to see unfold. So I'm going to beyond recommend you go see Creed 3. This movie is fantastic. It has some really great sequences throughout, fantastic performances, and is genuinely one of the better additions to the franchise. I'm going to give Creed 3 an 8 out of 10. So thank you guys always so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you all next time.